goodness. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, apparently the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, does not know the difference between bullying and being disliked. And none other than GB News had this very provocative title to their video today. So, we'll just walk and talk with me. Just, this is a church in Vincennes, and then we're going to go check out the chateau while we talk about this, you guys. So, we have this very likable reporter, journalist. I don't know what her job title is. She always wears her wigs off center, which is very distracting to me. It's just very, very distracting because you kind of want your wig, I think, to sort of line up with your nose, like the very center of your nose. And hers is always askew. She wears these askew wigs, which is just very, very distracting as a threshold matter. But anyway, she's like apparently this really, really likable person, very moral, very high moral standards. She's a standard bearer, even one might say. And she's one of those journalists in the UK who's tasked with holding Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, accountable for being unlikable. Meghan is just very, very unlikable, apparently, according to them. And that is why they continue to talk about her, attack her verbally, subject her to their verbal diatribes, and basically lambaste her every single day. I imagine from now until the end of time. Now, why is Meghan so unlikable to these people? It's something I don't understand. Well, what really intrigues me is the idea, you guys, that they are convinced that Meghan does not know the difference between bullying and being disliked. Now, we know that nobody could ever accuse this particular journalist of being a bully. I mean, look at her. She is angelic personified. I mean, she looks so kind and so open minded and open hearted and so big, so nobody could ever mistake her for a bully, right? Still, I don't understand why they are convinced that a woman as highly educated as Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, would have trouble distinguishing between bullying and being disliked. I mean, I think Meghan was very, very clear about the fact that she was disliked. I mean, what do you think, listener? I think the reason she left England and she ran for her life from the royal family and from the press and from all of these people who congregated around her in the UK is because she knew that she was disliked. She knew they didn't like her. That's exactly why she left. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that that's exactly the point, is that she knows the difference, first of all, between being liked and being disliked. Let's start there, right? She knows the difference between being liked and being disliked. She knew she was disliked. She knew they did not like her. So therefore, she took her child, she took the two pieces of clothing she could fit on the private jet, and along with her husband, she ran. She literally ran because she knew she was disliked. I think where she got in trouble was thinking that by leaving because they didn't like her, so she was making it sort of, this, by the way, is the Chateau Vincent. Is it Chateau Vincent or Chateau de Vincent? Good question. Not sure. But yes, it's quite famous and quite impressive. And it's right on the edge of Paris. So, it's a metro ticket and you're there. It's really, really worth checking out if you're ever visiting the City of Lights and you have some extra time, right? But I digress. So, yeah, I think Meghan is very clear on what it means to be liked and what it means to be disliked. And I think she knew she was disliked by people like that, this journalist or whatever it is on GB News. And so she left. But I think she made a mistake thinking that because she left, that they would leave her alone. It's like she felt like, okay, you don't like me and I know it, so I'm going to make it easy for you to breathe in your space, and I'm going to remove myself from your space. You don't have to see me, you don't have to hear me, you don't have to come near me, we don't have to interact, we don't have to talk. I'm just going to put so much distance. I'm going to put an ocean between us because, in a way, it's to make life easy for you as much as it is for me because I know that you don't like me, right? I think she thought that that would settle the matter, that somehow her leaving would communicate to them that, yes, I know you don't like me, and so I will leave. And let's just all, you know, shake hands on it and forget I was ever even here, right? This was a very big mistake because even by leaving, or maybe because she left, it infuriated them more. I mean, they disliked her, but now they disliked her and they were infuriated by her. So now they want to cut her into bits and bits and bits and bits. They are enraged. How dare you leave? Right? We don't like you, but we want you in our vicinity, in close proximity, so that we can take pins and stick you with it on a daily basis. We want to torment you on a daily basis. We want to tug your hair. We want to poke our finger in your eyes. We want to do all manners of torturous obscenities to you. And if we can even parade you through the streets and throw feces on you, we want to be able to do that. But in order for us to be able to do that, to exercise our right to do that, you need to be here. You can't leave. So I think that that's where Meghan went wrong, in thinking that she was really dealing with a simple thing as just being disliked. I mean, it's not just disliked. I mean, this is a deep, deep hatred, right? They hate her deeply. So what do they do now that she's no longer in close proximity? They reach over the pond and they continue to harass her with real stories, with concocted stories, and with stories that is a mixture of real and concocted. I mean, anything that they could possibly think of, they did it. Anything they could possibly say that was vile about her, they did. Whomever they had to pay to make things up, they made offers. I mean, they stopped at nothing. They brought in the heavy hitters, the heavyweights, her sister, her brother, her father. They tried to pay one of her co-stars or something an obscene amount of money to say that he had been intimate with her. I mean, they did everything they could to torment the living Christ out of this girl, even though she had left the vicinity, right? So now you have taken it from just disliking this woman to intentionally inflicting emotional distress on her by getting every possible ammunition you can get, whether you have to make it, buy it, borrow it, or steal it. I mean, whatever it took to continue to harass the living shit out of this girl. What do you call that? Where I come from, you call that bullying. You bully the living Christ. You drive her to effing suicide if necessary, right? Now, and you do it on a daily basis with your wig askew. You don't even have time to set your wig upon your head in an appropriate spot. You fling it on and you get to work harassing and bullying the living Christ out of this girl, right? Because you thought you would break her by doing this. You thought she would fold up like a fold up chair and just lose it, right? You thought her husband was going to leave her. You thought she would miscarry her children. And one of them actually was miscarried as a consequence, but she held on to two of them, right? And now you want to smoke them out of their hole so that you can see their faces at your leisure and harass her even more with her children and turn her children either into ammunition against her or weapons against her or, batting balls, right? That you can compare them to other people's children and make her feel crazy because her children are not up to standards. I mean, whatever it takes. I mean, you want blood from this woman. And you have the audacity, I can't say the F word because if I do that, the algorithms are just, I'm going to be done, right? I'm going to be done on YouTube. I can't, how did, I can't say what I really want to say on YouTube. Do you ever, whoever you are listening to me, do you ever get so irate? You're like so angry, right? You're so irritated with somebody that you're talking and what you're saying makes you laugh, even though like you're livid, but like you're laughing because you're so livid. It's happened. So, is this a problem? Is this something I need to have checked? Because sometimes I'm livid. I'm freaking livid. I'm like on my tippy toes, livid, right? And it's so funny. It's so funny because these people. This is why I need to start my day with my candles. You see, I've got to light my candles because I mean, when she sits there, this effing baboon. I mean, and she has the audacity to say that Meghan does not know the difference between bullying and being disliked. And now I have to analyze this. What do you think of this castle, by the way? Not just to get off of these idiots for 2 seconds. The Chateau de Vincennes. It's so amazing, honestly. I didn't go into the interior today because I didn't want to pay $13. But you don't even have to go into the interior. I mean, they have so much, the architecture is of the exterior is enough, honestly, for a trip up there. But it is €13 to get inside to see the interior. And, today there was a special exhibition on the grounds anyway. So some of the things that, like, that silver thing that you just saw is part of an exhibition that is going on up there right now. So it's truly remarkable, very sort of gothic. I guess it has many different styles, but I think predominantly it's a gothic castle. The church definitely is gothic. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So anyway, so back to these morons over at wherever they are. I mean, and in this one in particular is just like, I can't even, I don't even know her name. I see her, I don't even put the volume on because nothing that she has to say is of any interest to me. Now, what I'm realizing about the whole lot of these people, because, yesterday, or maybe it was today, this morning, I did another video where I talked about the BBC and how they're letting go 130 people, 130 journalists from their pool of journalists. And we know that other places like, is it ITV or wherever it was that Piers Morgan used to work, they don't even exist anymore. They're now online. And what I'm realizing is that, there's a very low level of intelligence um, with these journalists. There's a pool of journalists that it seems that these types of networks hire to do this kind of bottom feed journalism. This is like the bottom feeders. You see, these types of journalists are not the creme de la creme. They are hired specifically for this type of work to just appeal to the lowest segments of the society. The people who really, I mean, the types of people who would enjoy this type of journalism. I mean, I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it. But I would say that these are bottom feeder types of journalists, and all of them are on the sort of circuit for the Harry and Meghan harassment assignments. And they rise to the occasion because they think it's the way to advance in their career and get wherever it is they're trying to go in the at the network. Even like with the BBC, I mean, they try to hire two different people for the royal editor job, which they have never had a royal editor over at the BBC. But this whole royal family saga has blown up to the point that everybody wants to be a royal editor and a royal expert, and it's a way to sort of advance in their career, and get. I mean, I really, I can't even. I don't even know. I can't even analyze it. But it just seems to me that these are all bottom feeder types of people, anyway, and you know, it's that, and so I can't really spend too much of my day looking even at this woman's face and her friends, her cronies over at GB News. It's like I can't even, I have to start my day with a candle because otherwise I lose myself, because in trying to analyze the sort of just ignorance, the lack of depth, the sort of just lowbrow, just degenerate aspect of these people. It's like criminal law. It's like criminal law. It's like the reason I want nothing to do with criminal law is because you have to put yourself in a certain place in your head in order to A, understand, and B, analyze, and then synthesize data that you would much rather not have anything to do with at all. It's the same with these journalists who are on this Meghan and Harry beat. It's like it's like criminal law. It's like criminal law. So anyway, you guys, I'm on a boat. Okay. Every now and then, I like to just take this boat and cruise along the canal to Aubervilliers, and it just never gets tired. I probably do it maybe once a year, once every 2 years, something like that. And it's free, so I'm always what's the word in English? I can't remember, but I'm always there for the freebies, right? Always there for the freebies. And this is one of my favorite little freebies in Paris. This little navette that cruises along the canal to Aubervilliers. Anyway, I think that's all for this one. How much time is left on? It's a lot of time. It's like 5 minutes left on this video. Meghan Markle, yeah, I mean, so here's some headlines here. Meghan Markle is disliked in Britain, not because, what? Let's see what this one says. Oh my God, what is this? This is literally Arabic. This is totally crazy. Why would I be asked in Arabic on Facebook? It's insane. Okay, Meghan Markle is disliked in Britain. Oh, okay, well, you know what? I can't. This is insanity. It's in Arabic, literally. It's like my computer has been infiltrated. So yeah, there are all these, if you Google Meghan bullied and disliked, you get all these returns. And they're all trying to, literally pussyfoot around the issue with just nonsensical, assertions that Meghan doesn't know the difference between being disliked and being bullied. I mean, like who says something as stupid as that? I mean, anybody, even a 5-year-old child, knows the difference between being disliked and bullied. We all know when people like us. Even a 5-year-old knows when an adult or even their own peers like them or not. And they know when they're being bullied or not, right? So I can't, I don't have words to analyze these people anymore with this nonsense. How beautiful this is, right? And you guys, listen, I'm going to just put music on the rest of this video. And at the end of it, I come home and I make myself I make myself a cake. And so if you keep going to the end, you will see what happened with that, right? Because I'm over this conversation about Megan not knowing the difference between being bullied and being disliked. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. What are your thoughts about it as you listen to me trying to even make sense of this? I mean, what are your thoughts when you heard them say that? What are your thoughts?